Hello, and welcome back to the Volume Vegan Cooking Channel. This video is going to be a little bit different, as I had a birthday recently and my parents took me out to eat for it. And it made me think a lot about where my relationship with food is now. If you've watched my introduction video, you know that I've always struggled with food and have started with volume eating to keep myself feeling fed while keeping my calorie count lower. I do this not only to achieve and maintain a healthier balance of fat on my body, but to keep the temptation to eat high-calorie foods or snacking late, ordering takeout, things like that at bay. It really works well for me. Since starting this channel and recording my cooking, I can see differences in my body, and I can tell that staying faithful to eating like this is going to work for me. I do find that I'm thinking about food less overall, that I feel myself going to the snacks less because I feel satisfied after every meal. That's always been my personality. I've tried diets that had me grazing throughout the day, but I'm happier having regular, satisfying meals rather than being much of a snacker. Being vegan has changed the way I think about food a lot, of course. Of course it has. Knowing where food comes from and how it touches everything, from the planet to the animals to our bodies, everything. It's a big part of that. But I can't help but remark that being vegan and choosing to eat gluten-free as a way to avoid inflammation for me personally, I'm not diagnosed celiac, but I just choose to eat gluten-free. Eating this way is important to me, so it set up some automatic rules for my way of thinking about food. There are just some things I can't have. I can't have those things. If a food doesn't fall within these parameters, it just doesn't qualify. And that alone really changes my mentality about eating, because it changes what foods are available to me. And I take that seriously, I guess. It was like a switch that went on in my head. I don't eat those things. And fortunately, that eliminates a lot of junk for me, but it doesn't make all of my food choices nutritious or good for my body or low calorie. I remember seeing a video recently. I can't remember who it was, unfortunately. It was kind of in passing in the background while I was washing dishes or something, but it was about YouTuber Trisha Paytas and how they are frustrated with making mistakes about what is vegan and what isn't, and balancing their choosing a vegan diet on whether or not they always get it right. I think they'd had a Snickers bar or something, and someone pointed out that that wasn't a vegan thing to eat, and they made a very big deal about it. So I've been vegan for about 10 years, and I don't always get it right. I think that being a modern vegan has kind of made me take for granted that a lot of things for vegan. I think that being a modern vegan has made me sort of lazy about it, or take for granted that things will be vegan, because in my mind it kind of makes sense that they would be, knowing what I know about how you can make food, I think. And seeing the front of a box and it saying that it's plant-based or that it's dairy-free or something, and then looking at the ingredients later on and seeing that it's not what you thought it was. Just a few grocery hauls ago, when I was preparing to make my banana pudding recipe, I thought I had found vegan vanilla wafers at the local Walmart, and when I brought them home, they had egg whites in them. So I had to take those back to the store and order some different ones online. Sometimes my mind tells me that everything about that product seems right, and then suddenly there's going to be a preservative or something in it that my mind, I don't even look at it. Sometimes I just look for allergen warnings, and that alone isn't vegan. That doesn't make something vegan. I mean, if you really want to get down to strict veganism, The way that sugar is sourced can make something vegan or not, that sort of thing. There are plant-based goods that, depending on how they're sourced, might not be vegan, and it's not something that everybody's aware of. So, it's a lot more strict than it seems, and it can be very easy for a lot of us to pick up something or accidentally ingest something without being aware that something's in it. Trisha Paytas also said that if they do not lose weight on their vegan diet, they will give up and go back to fast food. No one is perfect. No one gets it right all of the time. We beat ourselves up about so many things every day. I want to take away the power that food has over us. We get programmed over time to use it for comfort and pleasure, that we actually start to fear not having it, to turn to for that comfort and that pleasure stimulus, and it can be very self-destructive. I guess it's that we eat plant-based that makes people think that vegan people are going to be automatically thin, that we automatically don't have a problem keeping weight off. In reality, right now it's easier than ever to get plant-based junk food in every department of the average grocery store. Restaurants are making their vegan choices as full of fat and sugar and salt as they are their non-vegan choices. I think we have to make firm decisions about what we do and do not eat. And then we learn to love what we are eating, not only because it's delicious, but because of how it makes our bodies feel. Making the flavors that we loved in the foods of our past come through in the foods that we eat now. Replicating the textures that we have always loved in the foods that we eat now. Embracing eating new foods and cuisines to find food that we never knew that we would love. And more than that, we have to stop putting so much power in what food can do to us. So my family has always celebrated every single little thing with a home feast or a big restaurant meal, and we would eat like our lives depended on it, like it was our job to do that. I did say that we're not perfect, right? And that we should never put the pressure on ourselves to try to be. When my parents asked me where I wanted to go to eat for my birthday dinner in the Atlanta area, my eyes just lit up. Unlike where I live and where I have lived since I've been vegan, there are lots of restaurants that are completely plant-based in the Atlanta area. And I can't really describe how it feels for me to walk into a restaurant and be able to pick anything on the menu. It's something that I took for granted in my pre-vegan days, and now when I do experience it, it's like I'm a kid in a candy store. My first choice was a salad bar restaurant called Sweet Tomatoes. That was very sad to hear closed down during the pandemic. It's not a vegan restaurant, but it's a salad bar restaurant, and all you can eat. The salad bar restaurant. They would always have like a plant-based soup and, other sort of things on the bar that you could also get as much as you wanted of, and I really loved it. They're closed, unfortunately, but that's a volume, place to eat if you really want to eat a lot of food. Sweet Tomatoes was the place. Since it wasn't an option, and my second choice was the popular plant-based burger spot from Atlanta called the Slutty Vegan, and they are opening spots up everywhere around Atlanta, but the one that is sort of in the Gwinnett County area that we were in hadn't opened yet. So basically, after looking at a few different options, I did see a place called the Go Vegan Grill in Decatur. And I'd heard of them before. I heard about their chicken and waffles that they do on, brunch and things like that, and how it's just incredible, out of this world. And I said, you know what? Let's go Vegan Grill. It was real pleasure. And it felt like a demonstration of me taking the power out of the food that I'm eating. Because no, this is not a salad bar restaurant, and no, should not do the volume eating here. if you know it's good for you. But yes, I threw gluten-free eating to the wind, and I chose bloating, and I chose the items I wanted the most. I chose their mock fried chicken, which was made of soy protein, but of course it was battered, and it was absolutely crispy and moist. I don't even know how they got it so juicy and delicious, and every bite was so satisfying. Like, just the bite itself felt like you were, I can't even describe it. It's hard for me to say that it's just like chicken at this point. I haven't had chicken in a very long time, and I don't necessarily want things to be exactly like chicken, if I'm being honest. But it was a very juicy, dense, meaty bite, and it was really, really delicious. And yeah, I also got sides of black-eyed peas and collard greens. I love black-eyed peas. I don't eat a lot of beans these days because they are high in carbs, but sometimes I can't help it, and this was one of those circumstances. And I also got a piece of birthday cake. I got a piece of strawberry cake because it was just calling to me, that strawberry on strawberry situation, and I enjoyed every single bite. And I don't feel even a little bit guilty about it. And I also don't feel like I will lose my mind if I don't go back and get more right now. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it. And I'm glad that I'm able to enjoy it without it either making me feel guilty or making me feel like it threw me off my path. So now I should just give up and eat terribly, right? It's just food. Just one meal. And I'm really glad I could experience it. I've never had vegan chicken. It was so convincing and so good. My mother also chose to get the chicken, and she had mashed potatoes with hers. I let her have my sweet Hawaiian roll. I skipped the bread. And she also had a piece of cake. She had red velvet cake. I don't know if we show that here. And then my stepfather, who swore that he wasn't going to eat any vegan food, but was going to keep us company as we were there, couldn't resist while he was in line and he saw all of this good Southern eating. So he ordered the mock meatloaf with 3 sides. He got an extra side. He got the rice, he got some black-eyed peas, and some macaroni and cheese. And everything was completely plant-based, and we absolutely loved it. But I am trying to encourage my family to find other ways to do things to celebrate our big moments together besides eating in restaurants, like going bowling or mini golf or going to Six Flags or something. It's a bit difficult to put things like that together during the pandemic. I certainly haven't been bowling in a couple of years, but beyond what I'm trying to do for family gatherings, I'm reaching for the pleasure and comfort and joy in things like creativity, time with people I love, and other things that I like, instead of always looking for comfort in food. I'm staying busy rather than staying bored and eating. I want to enjoy what I eat, and I do very, very much. But in having a different attitude about what the food is to me and what I'm getting out of it, I don't know, it's a very powerful tool for the mind. And it helps me not want to get back into old habits with food. I watched a video a few weeks ago by a channel called My Thoughts Will Probably Offend You. It's one of my favorites. And it was about a volume eater who was being accused of eating too little and encouraging unhealthy eating habits, when in reality she's eating very clean, eating a healthy amount of calories, and she indulges herself where she would like to. I very much identified with the entire video, and it gave me a lot more to think about. I mean, I'm like her. I can eat something now and then, like this delicious mock fried chicken, and it doesn't have to trigger me into unhealthy behavior patterns. Sometimes I get a big burrito. Sometimes we get pad thai. But that pad thai is a huge portion. So we either commit to sharing the dish instead of buying 2, or splitting it into 2 portions so that we can break up the calories over a couple of meals. I think that when we hype up, I can't have that too much. When we're not ready to give things up cold turkey, we set ourselves up to fail, or we feel guilty, or we feel like it's too hard. And that's giving the problem too much power. We can take the power back. We shouldn't feel like we're held captive by eating. Anyway, I wanted to share this amazing birthday meal with you in the middle of my recipes as a reminder that while I'm eating light when I'm cooking at home, I am eating. I'm eating every day, plenty of calories. And that while I'm eating light when I'm cooking at home, and most of the time when I'm eating out, I do make light choices. And I'm going to show you more of those as we go along. But it's absolutely fine to have a fried meal or a sweet treat now and then. Enjoy it. Never beat yourself up about it. And eat great tomorrow. We should enjoy much, much more of our lives than we allow ourselves to. And making something as complicated as food less stressful just in itself is probably going to add years to our lives. So yeah, thank you so much for visiting my channel and listening to me. I'm really, really enjoying what I'm getting out of this journey so far, and I look forward to sharing a lot of it with you. Please let me know in the comments, what you think, what part of this touches you, or maybe if you've seen the videos that I'm talking about, and maybe some tips and tricks that you have along your own journey to help you put old bad eating habits aside, and to maybe not pressure yourself so much, give it so much power. Please like my video and share my recipes with any of your friends that you think might enjoy them. And while you're here, please subscribe and turn on those notifications. It helps support my new channel, and the more support I get, the better that I will get at making these videos for you. Thank you again. I'll talk to you again very, very soon, and bye-bye.